this training, we're going to talk about how you can become a content creation machine as a recruiter without sacrificing the day job, without, worrying about other revenue driving activities. So obviously there's a lot of talk all the time in this industry about, is it worth your time to create content? And my answer to that is 100% yes. Now, having a strategy that's getting in the way of other important activities in your business, then yeah, no, it's not important to create content. But the debate, I think is kind of over at this point on whether you should have an online presence, and if that works, to gather yourself new clients and even possibly new candidates through your internet marketing efforts, automation, et cetera, content creation and things like that. That debate is over, in my opinion. And those that think that, that effort and personal branding and marketing automation doesn't work, then good, as Chaz Reinhold would say in Wedding Crashers, more for me and you then. So, as we dive into this training, I just want to really, kind of relate with you guys I hear it all the time. I see it online. I hear it from people that go through my program of like, you sit down, you want to create content, you have the good intentions, and then you just sit there and you stare at a blank screen. And so my purpose of this training is to really give you guys some ideas, not necessarily tactical, not necessarily content topics, but just some mindset work and just some strategies and systems that will help support that consistency and give you the permission to really become the content creator that you were made to be. All right. So as we dive in, the very first thing I want to talk about that myself and my clients that are really successful on the content side do is we commit to a schedule. Okay. And so the commitment to a schedule creates it eliminates the vagueness. It eliminates, am I going to do this or not? Things that we're committed to, typically, if we're truly committed to them, we actually execute. Things that we're not committed to, we'll find our way, we'll give ourselves an excuse, we'll find a back way out of that. And content is one of the easiest things to kind of be wishy-washy on. Okay. So the first thing is like, are you committed to doing this? Are you committed to creating content? It's a yes or no question, right? And if the answer is yes, then the next thing you want to do is you want to commit to a schedule. Okay. So if we were just simple talking about creating content on LinkedIn, and commit to how many days you are going to show up on LinkedIn, right? So that's the first foundational piece, is knowing, how much, what am I committed to? And then how much am I going to show up? So I have an idea, right? Is it 3 days a week? Is it 5 days a week? Is it every day? What is your content plan, on LinkedIn? What is your schedule? And the same thing should be done for every other channel that you're actively marketing on, right? So if you have an email list and a database, like, hey, when do you email them every month? Is it weekly? Is it a monthly newsletter? If it's a monthly newsletter, what day are you sending the newsletter out, right? You actually have a schedule. You have a calendar, a content calendar that, again, you are to combined with the schedule is really where there's a lot of power. Okay. And that really creates clarity for people of, it's not a decision I have to make. And sometimes when I'm constantly making this decision over and over again, I'm just taking my energy away, right? Oh, am I going to create or not? Am I going to do this or not? It's like, no, I've already committed. I'm doing this. These are the 3 days. That's the foundation. Okay. Once I have the commitment, then, I stay committed to that schedule, and I'm detailed with the schedule. And, a good thing would be having an accountability partner to help you with that, or having a coach that can help hold you accountable to that. Okay. So that's the basic foundation of everything. Okay. Now, the next thing that, people that are creating content successfully are doing is they know their market. Okay. They know their market inside and out. And so what does that mean? It's not just, understanding like, hey, I'm in this industry. It's really digging into this industry, right? Really becoming the expert. And it depends, there's a lot of different ways to niche your business now, right? It can be industry, it can be function, it can be department, it can be certain position title. It's not what this is about, but you should have some detailed, area that you're focused on. The reason being is because it allows us to truly know that industry. It allows us to really understand at a very high level what the specific challenges that industry or that position title when it comes to recruiting. What are their challenges with hiring these types of people? What are their frustrations around that? What are the pains that they're going through with their recruiting process? What are the pains that they're going through by not filling these roles, right? And when you truly know your market, you actually know this better than they do. And this is a great way, when you know your market, that allows us to show our expertise. It allows us to show our value, allows us to show how we're different through the creation of content. So when I know my market, the things that are important that you want to know about your market is you want to know, again, their pains, their problems, their frustrations. Okay. The other thing is, what are your frustrations? What are the things that you see that they're doing that is just completely wrong? Where are they making a right-hand turn where they should be making a left-hand turn, right? This is incredibly, incredibly powerful, because people are always going to respond to marketing and messaging faster when they're trying to avoid pain, even more than they will when they're seeking pleasure. Okay. So you should know all of their pains, problems, frustrations, your frustrations with their pains, problems, frustrations as well. Great content topics right there. Then you start to look at, well, what does good look like? Do they even know what good looks like? Have they ever experienced good? Do they know what good looks like from an internal recruiting process? Do they know what good looks like from an external recruiting process? Do they know, I know everybody gets kind of caught up in like, oh, well, my clients only want the body in the seat. And yeah, there's some truth to that. But at the end of the day, if they can have a body in a seat and a really good experience along the way, I think they'd probably prefer both, right? And so that's where you're going to create and understand, if you know your market, know your industry, know your departments, your job titles, know your niche, essentially, then that's where you get to understand what their heaven looks like even better than they do, right? And then there's this gap, right? So in your market, they're currently struggling with this problem. They want this desire, they want this heaven, and then there's this gap in between, right? And that's where the good marketing comes, is when you can explain that gap and explain why they can't get from heaven or from hell to heaven, right? And all the different obstacles that come in the way, right? So that's the power of understanding and knowing the market, is when I know their pains, problems, desires, outcomes, objections better than they do, I really get to be the expert. I get to be the authority, and creating content becomes a heck of a lot easier. It's really easy, actually, to create content when I know exactly who I'm trying to create my content for, right? I always write to boutique and independent recruiting agency owners every single day. It makes that easy, because I live in your world, and I am constantly focusing on how I can help overcome these certain problems and challenges. The other thing in the market is when you understand and you really know your market, going back into the content creation part, is people have like these aha moments, right? You can have them help really have these breakthroughs with your content by being the one that, again, educates that market and create those breakthrough moments, and create those ahas. Hey, you think the problem is this, but really the problem is that. It's really good things to throw into your content that make you, again, from the audience's standpoint, they really see you as being the expert in the market, right? And the other thing that's really cool about your market is then you can use stories and analogies that are really going to, align with your market, right? What are the things that are commonly said? What are the stories and analogies that people are commonly using in your industry that, again, establish that authority? So that's the crucial importance of knowing the market, is I understand, again, their pains, their problems, their challenges, their frustrations, my frustrations with them, what really good looks like, what great, bringing great talent to the table plus a great experience looks like, why they're not currently experiencing that right now. What are the breakthroughs and ahas we can create for them? Hey, you think the problem is this, but the problem is really that type of content. Here's some of the myths, and bust some myths about certain things in your industry. And then, being really good at stories and analogies to really bring all that stuff together. Okay. So that's the power of really knowing your market inside and out. All right. So that's the next tip for you. The next there is, when you know market, and you're in a specific niche market, then one of the things that we really can do is, let me go back to my notes because I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, there it is you can always search for inspiration. Okay. And this is something that my clients are always doing. What do I mean by always searching for inspiration? Well, if you're constantly calling clients every day and the same candidates every day, and they're the same world every single day, then, what happens is you can start to get content from your calls. Okay. You can start getting content from how you're interacting with both your clients and candidates. Well, how do you do that? Well, pretty much on every single call, I would imagine that you're on, at some point in time on that call, you're giving advice. And if that advice is valuable on that call, guess what? That advice is going to be valuable to other people in your market, to other people that are online that are starving for that type of information. And you get to be the one to deliver it. So when I'm saying looking for inspiration is once you really start to commit to your content and you're committed to your market, knowing your market, then when you're on the calls, you actually start to pay attention to these things more. Okay, I get off the call and Johnny's talking to me about his resume and he wants to know if he should tweak his resume to really appeal to the current role he's applying for. And you say, hey, XYZ, Johnny, right? Now I'm going to go take that post. I'm going to tell a little story online about how Johnny had this problem and I told him to do ABC. I hope that helps somebody else, right? Now I'm leading my market. Here's the key thing that makes this great though, okay? When you're talking about time, right? Do I have time to create content? If you're using this strategy alone, combined with those other things that I talked about, right? Knowing your market and doing this right, we're talking about pains and problems. You're getting content every day. It's a part of your day. It's not an extra effort. It's congruent with your daily activities. Everybody knows that to be successful as a recruiter, being on the phone is a big part of that, right? Being on the phone is a huge part of that. That's what's really making, especially on the placement side, that's what's making the whole thing tick. So you're on the phone all day long with the opportunity to gather content all day long, having a notepad out. Oh, shoot, that's really cool. I could do that. I do this on my sales calls. I do this with my clients when we're on our coaching calls. I constantly have things that are being fed to me through inspiration, through just the calls. And again, this is congruent in my day. Now, the next step of inspiration, okay, that's just kind of what's congruent in your day. You're on your calls, you're paying attention. The next thing would be, well, what are the books? What are the resources? Who are the influencers of that space that you can go read some of their content and share some of their content and leave your thoughts, or take some content that you see out there from somebody that you respect and go take it. And I'm not saying steal, but take it and use that as inspiration. Go create something that's better than that, right? Leaving your 2 cents out there. But when you're looking for inspiration, for me, a lot of times, like I'll read books or I listen to a lot of podcasts, listen to audio books or reading books, and that'll actually inspire a lot of the content that I'll create, because something in that book will, get my creative juices going, boom. And then I just go and create that content. So, looking for inspiration, looking for things and being, paying attention to things that are a part of your day is another really great way to stay consistent with your content. And again, notice we're not pulling anything from outside of our day job. Everything is staying congruent there, right? The next thing, the next tip is really focusing on reusing and repurposing. Okay, so the first step with reusing and repurposing content is creating, and that's what I'm saying, just to be very clear, to reuse and repurpose content. Okay, so this video here that I create, what will happen after I'm done with this video is I will send the video to my assistant, and it will then be posted onto my YouTube channel. I'm repurposing it. Okay, I'm reusing the content. Then what my assistant will do is she'll probably edit these 5 different tips that I'm giving you and create them into, each individual shorter videos of these specific tips. So I'm spending this, 20 to 30 minutes with you here. And from this 20 to 30 minutes, essentially, I don't need to create content for the rest of the week. Okay, because I'm leveraging the content that I'm already creating. I'm creating tips. I'm creating smaller videos. Technically, I could have her transcribe this video, rewrite that into short form posts, right? The content is always relevant. So which ways can you repurpose and leverage yourself and reuse content? Okay. So the first step with that is it's okay to go back in posting your content and go back a couple months and see what actually worked. And then go repost the same thing. You could probably repost the same thing verbatim and get great results from it because nobody's paying that close attention to you. I do it all the time and I've got a decent following. Nobody ever calls me on it. Okay. And this isn't something that I do. Every marketer does this. And this is where a lot of times I'm just going to invite you to get out of your own way, because one thing about marketing is it's really saying the same thing over and over again, but just in different ways. And so if you're running out of content topics, it's just because your ego's in the way, thinking that everybody's following you so close and that everybody's seeing all your stuff. Well, the reality of it is I'm in here every day and people don't see all my stuff, right? Nobody's paying that close of attention. So the idea of reusing old stuff, it doesn't have to be just copy and paste it verbatim. You can go, oh, hey, well, here's a post that worked back in June of this past year, but it's not as relevant at this time. But if I made these couple tweaks to that post, it actually would be really relevant. Boom, go grab it. That's a 5-minute activity. And now I'm staying consistent. So looking for ways that I can either take videos, chop them into shorter videos, take videos, transcribe them, create content, take old written content, turn those into videos, take old written content, rewrite them a little bit, make a couple tweaks, right? And that's really going to help. And that's why, what I really encourage for my clients is to have content buckets to pull from. So if I were just to use myself for example, the way I can repurpose, reuse, and not reduce, reuse, and recycle, but repurpose and reuse my content is through, understanding, well, what do I want to educate my market on consistently? Well, I'm a coach, so I always want to have some motivational stuff. I always want to talk about, the importance of standing out, positioning, and branding in the marketplace, because that's a part of my program. I always talk about, LinkedIn, starting conversations here on LinkedIn, because that's a part of what I teach. I always talk about content. Here we are. Okay. I talk about multi-channel scaling. These are 4 or 5 buckets that I could always be pulling from. Okay. And I say these messages in different ways. Okay. I did a video on content probably 2 months ago. And in this, people are watching. Maybe some of the same people were there. Maybe there's not. Right. But there's still a lot of value that's being out there. There's a lot of golden nuggets. Hey, if you watch this video, take one thing away, it's valuable. Right. Think about that for yourself as you're creating content. Get out of your own way. Reuse your content, repurpose your content, find ways to leverage yourself. All right. Now on to the last tip. And this is the tip that I think is the most crucial one. This is the one that really is going to drive your activity, is, really being able to lead your market. Is you want to be able to lead your market. And what do I mean by that? So what I see, one of the things for me is like creating content's not an option. Why? Because I'm on a mission. I'm on a war path to make getting on the phone with clients for recruiting agencies easier. That's all I think about all day long. I've got apps that I've built. I've got coaching programs. I've got done for you things that I offer. Everything I do is obsessed with helping recruiters grow their business and finding ways to get on the phone easier by leveraging online marketing, personal branding, marketing systems, automation, etc. I'm obsessed with this. I want to lead my market. I want to be the market leader. I want everybody in the recruiting industry to, follow my lead with this. Okay. I'm fine with saying it. I know not everybody's on board, right? But are you obsessed with something like that? Do you actually want to make a change? Do you want to make an impact? Because it's going to be hard to stay motivated with your content if you're just creating content because, well, Donnie told me to, or every other coach in the market told me to, or everybody says, hey, I got to have a content strategy. Let me go react. And well, yeah, I mean, you can. But what you're going to find is the consistency part, right? Because as soon as you get into a rut, or as soon as you get busy with, maybe too many job orders on your plate, then you're going to go back into your old ways of thinking of like, well, I don't have time to do this. Where for me, it's a non-negotiable, right? I'm committed to this, like we talked about at the beginning. But I want to lead my market. I'm doing this for a different impact. And so it becomes easier for me to create content. I create content every morning as a part of my routine. And I'll just ask myself, well, how do I want to lead my market today? How do I want to lead my market this week? How do I want to lead my market? What do they need to hear? Okay. You can offer yourself the same power I invite you into becoming obsessed with something in your industry. Becoming obsessed with becoming the leader in your market, your industry. And what you'll see from that is a much bigger following. Okay. You start to build an actual tribe of people. So not only does your content become consistent, but people see you out in front and they want to be a part of that. And that's really where we can attract some powerful clients. And that's the last thing, really that I want to, leave you guys with is why are we doing all of this? Why would we take the time to create content? Like, what's even the purpose of all of that? Because I get better clients, period. Yeah, I can show you some tactical things of drumming up some phone calls so that we can fill our dopamine rush and just get on the phone. But like for me, if I connect with somebody and they want to get on the phone with me, but they've never been through my trainings, they've never seen any of my content, it's like pulling teeth, right? It's like pulling teeth to try to get somebody to, to move forward and work with me, right? And the same thing is often, for you guys, especially when you're in super competitive market. So why do I create content? Because it makes not just getting on the phone, it makes getting clients easier. Because when clients come to me and they're on the phone, they believe in what I have to offer already more. They already have an understanding of who I am, what I'm about, what my systems can do, because they've seen my trainings, they've seen my content, they've seen my testimonials and the proof. If you haven't, go to my YouTube channel and check it out. They're a prospect that's ready to buy dang near almost, right? So that's the power of content, is you have an opportunity to take a customer on a journey with you, know you, like you, trust you, without even getting on the phone with you. The best thing about this for you is you don't even know what's happening. You have no idea who's following you, liking you, and seeing value in what you have. And that's that's the thing, is there's so many things out there now where people are trying to, you kind of get held back because of society, right? Well, I don't want to put this out there because what if I'm rejected by this? Well, what if you're not? Right? Or, hey, I've been putting a lot of content out there, but nobody's responding. Well, shoot, when I first started putting content out there, nobody even liked my stuff, but I was still getting phone calls from it. So what you're always seeing on the front end doesn't matter. There's an audience of people that are watching and they're consuming your stuff. And the more and more that you're out there, they see your value. They see that you're different. They see your authority. They see your proof. They know that you can do what you can do. And what happens when you do this consistently through time is people just come to you and they book on your calendar. Okay. I don't have outbound strategy. Everything for me is inbound. Now, that's not the way you want to grow a recruiting business. Recruiting business, you have to have both inbound and outbound. But when you get them right and you get them congruently working with each other, then that's where it's at in the recruiting industry. And that's what's really powerful. That's what we offer in the Relevant Recruiter program, is we have the most advanced, powerful marketing system that the recruiting industry is using right now, where we are helping recruiters and recruiting firms build out personal brands, implement automated lead generation systems, create content in a way that's easy for them and effective for them, in a way that's going to get a result of somebody to reach out to them. Okay. The last thing I'm going to leave you with this whole content thing is when there's a difference between marketing and advertising. And a lot of people get this part confused. Okay. Marketing should be all about my customer. That's me adding value. Okay. But when people start to put on their hat and they go, you know what, I need to start marketing my business and I need to start creating content, what their knee-jerk reaction and where they always go is they go into promoting, advertising their business. And you know what? Nobody cares about your business until they know how you can help them. And that's why the content marketing is so powerful, is because I can show you. I don't need to explain to you. I don't need to throw a bunch of air at you on the call. I can actually show you how I'm different, how I'm better, and why you should get on the phone with me. But if you're spending all of your time advertising and promoting your business, you're probably going to get a lot of deaf ears, because nobody really cares. There's nothing in a promotional piece for people. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. What I work off is about a 90-10 rule. 90% of my content is going to add value. 10% of it is going to be about me promoting my business. So this is Donnie Gupton. Hopefully you enjoyed this training. If you want to take me up on a free strategy session call, comment below, send me a direct message on whatever platform you're watching this on right now. On that call, we'll get you clear on exactly where you're at now, where you need to go, what the obstacles are in front of you. We'll show you exactly how the Relevant Recruiter method can work for your business. You can take that information and run with it, or if you want our help with the implementation, then we can certainly talk about that too. But these calls are no pressure. They're 100% free. And I can promise you it'll be probably the most valuable call you would take this year, even if you didn't move forward in the program. Hopefully you found some value. Drop some comments if you did. Give me a little like and some love if you did. This is Donnie. We'll see you next week.